trapping on these little farms this week, and here's another little farm on a field. There's a 2-track that runs along the edge here, and then there's another old 2-track that runs down into the forest. And we got ourselves a little red fox here, which is fantastic. First red fox I've caught in, excuse me, year and a half, almost 2 years. So obviously I'm going to check him out, and if he's not injured, he's getting released. But I'm happy that there's at least a few red foxes around. Not surprised necessarily that where I would catch one is up closer to suburbia, trying to get away from the coyotes. So this is great. We'll get this reset, and hopefully we'll catch a coyote here tomorrow. Okay, so here's the remake on the set. We just caught the fox in. Again, right here's the 2-track coming down into the corner, and it goes around that way where my truck is, and then it also goes down into the forest right there. So it's kind of an intersection here, and they got this big field, and there's another field connected to it so that they're running around in. So all I did is redo the dirt hole, put the trap back in there. There was a little bit of scat left behind, so I added that kind of for some blocking, and then I added a little clump of dirt that was here, and that's it. That's all I did. New bait and lure down in a hole, no urine. Everything here smells like a fox. The fox was a nice deep pad catch in a 550, and he was totally unharmed, and released him. He's beautiful, by the way, a big male, beautiful, and released him, and in typical red fox fashion, he just ran right down there into the woods, and then he turned and stopped and looked at me like red foxes do every single time I let him go, pretty much, it seems like. They always want to turn and look and see what's happening, almost as a way to, I don't know, at least this is the way I think of it, as a way to say, thank you for letting me go. Gray foxes don't do that. They just turn and run, and just, you never see them. The red foxes always, or at least a lot of times, will turn and stop and look back at you. It's kind of weird, but that's what they seem to do. As soon as they hit the brush, they stop and turn and look back. Look at those cows up there looking at this coyote, trying to figure out what the heck's happening. Okay, so this is a spot that we set up. I think this is the second check day here. And basically what we got is we got this 2-track road that's running along this little drainage. It's got a fence, and then you can see all this brush and everything. And we have 2 or 3 different traps set up on this 2-track. It goes for a long way, a couple miles probably along the backside of this little farm here. So, and obviously we got a decent coyote here. Got good fur. This was a flat set that we had set up here, and had a big piece of sage grass as a backing. We put a little flat set in here right along this 2-track, and you got all this stuff. Coyotes are obviously going to run this, and nice big deep pad catch on this one, and it's a good looking coyote, good sized one too. Okay, here's the remake on this set. You can see there's a little bit of a catch circle here, not too bad. This was my backing before, and it's pretty much destroyed, so I went ahead and just popped in a little dirt hole just to kind of give it a little bit something. Threw a couple of little pieces of cow manure there to kind of help guide it in a little bit. I'm actually going to try to blend it in a little bit more with some grass and stuff, but I mean, there's really no purpose in that to try to blend it in, even if you wanted to, because you've already got this catch circle. There's all this disturbance here. So just let it be, let it kind of ride out, but you can try to blend it in a little bit more if that's kind of what you want to do. And then the most important part is you can see the cows that are up there eating hay. They were all down here. They're looking at this coyote. They're surrounding him. I went ahead and just ran all them off because I don't want them around here getting used to being around here, smelling this, getting into it, making a mess of it. So went ahead and ran them back up the hill, which I find works pretty good. Just run them away. Their cows are stupid. So just run them away, run them back up there where they can eat grass, and then they're not going to be bothering you anymore. So now we're going to move on from here and see what the rest of the day brings.
Dedicated mortgage consultant.
Okay, so driving along, just got done checking the last farm of the day, and then I got stuck in like a little downpour. We just had a itty bitty little front come through. It was 60 degrees, believe it or not, and now it's 45 degrees, and that's all happened in like the last hour and a half. And we had a little bit of rain, just enough to get everything wet, not much more than that. But now tonight, I think it's gonna be 20, and the wind chill's like 8. So I don't know if my traps are gonna freeze up. This is the absolute worst scenario that I hate. Is it's warm, there's a rain, even if it's a small rain, and then it gets really cold right behind that with a cold wind chill. It's pretty difficult to keep the traps working under those circumstances. I'm hoping that just the top kind of freezes a little bit and it gets crusty and any critter can still step through, and that underneath, I don't think it rained enough to get underneath the trap, so the trap underneath should still be fine. It's bedded in dry dirt and peat moss, should still be working. But one of the good things about today, and this is one of the things that I love about living in the country, is the first farm that I've been going to this week on these small farms. It's always the first one I get to, and I get there early. And apparently the lady there that lives at the farm with her husband, I guess, made some homemade cinnamon rolls. So I got a homemade cinnamon roll this morning. How can you really beat that? And then a little bit later, I get a call, and this one lady who I've been helping because all of her chickens are getting eaten, and she's got like 150 acres, and her husband has passed, so she lives there by herself, and she's in her 70s, and really nice lady. And she called to tell me that I had a coyote in a trap because she could see it in a field. All the cows were kind of around it, and she could see it in a field. And so I get over there and I take care of the coyote, and had also caught a coon off of her, which she was happy about because they're eating her chickens. She says she's constantly fighting them, not getting in her chicken house. So as I was leaving, she flagged me down, and this was about lunchtime by then, and she had a piece of homemade apple pie for me. So is there much better than living in rural America where the folks will give you a cinnamon roll and a piece of apple pie for helping them trap critters off of them? Don't think there's a much better scenario than that. That's why I love living in the country.